and you're with me for a Tuesday episode of Coffee Talk. It is March the 17th, 2025. It's about 7 p.m. in the evening, and this is Coffee Talk number 573. I'm off on spring break, so I'm going to take the opportunity to do a couple extra live streams. I'll do one today, and I will probably do one on Thursday. And then I'll try to get back to my regular Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I may let one of the weekend days slide this weekend because of putting in a couple this week. At any rate, we're here to talk about preparedness, and we're going to talk about food, and we're going to talk a little bit about items for grid down situation, what sort of foods and such you should have. We'll talk a little bit about how much it costs. I'll give you examples of what we're talking about, and we'll see how it goes. Nunez Racing 12, how are you doing? I'm doing as well as can be expected. I'm off on vacation right now for spring break. I don't normally, or I haven't been recently live streaming during the week, but seeing how I'm off on vacation, I thought I would do a couple this week. Uncle Owl died Bullfrog 79. Haven't sneezed all day, but here comes a sneeze. Sorry about that, guys. Jack Stacks, how are you doing, sir? Thank you for coming in. Anxious about the governor primary election, wondering who will be the runner up against Pritzker. Oh, Lord. No idea. No idea. And yes, thank you for saying it. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Uncle Al. Uh, well, I'm certainly not wearing green today. Ah, Lord, wearing green. There's an old tradition that if you don't wear green, they got the right to pinch you. But I haven't been out today, so I haven't seen anybody other than my wife, and she's not going to pinch me, and I'm not going to pinch her. However, she was out today and was over at the library, and I don't think she wore green. My friend Dave, how's it going, Yoda? Yoda's blessed life. Ugh. 6 in the house, 5 likes. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week. Hey, Gary, thanks for stopping in. Very late where you're at. I hope Anne Marie went to bed. She needs to get her rest. And so do you, my friend. I appreciate you stopping in to say hello. Corned beef and cabbage. Oh, there's a combination for you. If you want to talk about an explosive combination, cabbage and corned beef. Nobody strike a match. You could have a serious explosion. Oh man. Sorry. It's 7:04 here where I'm at, and I'm already yawning. Townhouse crackers and pimento cheese. Baking soda bread. Well, what I'd like to talk about today, um, let's say, people have scenarios they need to be prepared for. I'll just use as an example. I live in an area that's prone to hurricanes. Now, where I'm at, it's been about 8 years since we had a hurricane come through. Our last hurricane that came through was Harvey. Matter of fact, in the 21 years I've lived in Victoria, Texas, we've only had one hurricane come through, and that was Harvey. And it did not do any damage other than it tore up a bunch of trees. It didn't do any damage to my home, but it did do a lot of damage in the yard. One of my trees went over, and it was a big, trash cleanup, trying to get rid of all the limbs and everything that were down. But when that happened, we were without power for about a week, and we were without water for about, I'd say, about 5 days. And it was a big, it was a big situation. So, in an emergency, if you can't go to the store, you can't, use your debit card, um, you're basically stuck with what you have. It's always a good idea to be prepared to have a certain amount of canned foods, bottled water items that you don't have to worry about, um, so you can feed yourself, as well as having your medications and various things. So, I'd like to talk a little bit about options when it comes to that, talk a little bit about prices. So, I went online and I just got prices for items that common items people would use. I want to go down through them and then talk about how much you're talking about as far as money wise. A lot of people are really on a fixed budget. They have very limited. Well, yeah. Also, you're also prone to tornadoes. We're in, we're in an area that's prone to tornadoes. But whatever your scenario is, let's just say you're going to have to go without power. Something happens and power's down, so you can't use debit cards. Um, you can't charge your cell phones. Even if you charge your cell phone, the towers aren't working. You've got to have power in the towers for the cell phones to work. You can have a completely charged cell phone, but it's just not going to do you any good if the towers aren't working. That being said, I'm just going to go through some things that typically you would want to have on hand. Peanut butter. I'll start with peanut butter. First example would be Skippy peanut butter. A 16.3 ounce jar is $2.98 right now at Walmart. $3. for a 16-ounce jar of Skippy. You want to eat an ounce or two a day. So let's just plan on food for a week. What will it cost to feed me for a week? A couple of ounces of peanut butter. Saltine crackers. Now you can have bread. I'm a big cracker eater. You eat that with soup, ramen, Vienna sausages, pottage meat. You can use it with just about anything you're gonna have. Then the bloody nose starts running. Oh man. Okay. So, great value saltine crackers, a 16-ounce box of crackers, which will have four. It'll be a 4 count as far as the packages inside the box. You're going to wind up spending $1.88 for that right now. So let's say you get a couple of boxes of saltine crackers. What else are you going to have? Well, crackers go with just about everything. Bread goes with just about everything. If you get a loaf of bread, you're going to pay right at $2 for a loaf of bread. Same thing with eggs. You can get a dozen eggs for just about $1.95 right now for a dozen eggs. 2 eggs at a time, that's 6 days worth of eggs. 2 a day, that's 6. You don't necessarily eat eggs every day. Sometimes you might eat 3 eggs, you know. Ramen. Ramen's easy to prepare. You just need hot water. It's cheap. Those little 3-ounce packages of ramen. You get a 12-pack for $3.97. $3.97 for a 12-pack of ramen. Hello, Rocket. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. So you get a 12-pack of the ramen. If you say eat one of those a day, 12-pack, that'll last you right at 2 weeks. Somebody was teasing me about rice. What do you need with all that rice? I said, well, I took a picture of a display. I was just showing somebody. I turned it into a short. I took a picture over at Walmart of rice and pinto beans, and I turned them into a couple of little shorts. The images, put the prices, the quantity. Pinto beans right now, you get a 1-pound bag of pinto beans. And if you're going to make beans, you could very easily make the full bag, or you could, like, if one person, just half of a bag is 8 ounces. So a $1 bag, about 50 cents per, if you're going to make beans. It's not expensive. But pinto beans. Rice, 32 ounces of rice, which would be 2 pounds, $1.77. Normally, a serving of rice is about 4 ounces for one person. Something else people eat. Hello, Miss Anne Marie Angel. Thank you for coming. Great value fruit and cream instant oatmeal. a value pack, which would be 1.05 ounce bags. You get 20 bags for $3.72. Normally, when I make oatmeal, and I eat oatmeal almost every day, I take 2 packs. If I'm really starving, I take 3 packs. Hot water, stir it up, let it sit a little while. I can add fruit to it, or I can eat it the way it is. And I usually eat the low sugar Quaker oatmeal. It's a little more expensive, but it's the low sugar. And I'll eat a couple of packs of that. And it's good. It's good. So you get a 20 pack for $3.72. You just need to be able to have hot water. You have to be able to heat water. Yeah, I'm still going, Uncle Al. Spam and butter beans. Butter beans, very, very methane-ish. A lot of methane. What's that about the fruit? The magical fruit. Uh, beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. Uh, I hope the I hope the algorithm doesn't turn that into a short. Great value purified drinking water. I got to get around to the drinking water. You need bottled water. Hillbilly Josh, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in, Josh. So you need to have bottled water. I buy 24 packs. You can buy 40 packs as far as that goes, but I buy 24 packs because of the weight. I don't like, I'm getting older. I don't like carrying over 40 pounds. A 40 pack is over 40 pounds because each bottle of water, you get individual packs of water, you're looking at 17 ounces. A 1/2 liter is about 17 ounces. It's a little over a pound. So I'll get the 24 packs. And a 24 pack of great value water right now is 327. Used to be you'd get them for like 10 cents a bottle, and now it's like 327 for a 24 pack. KP Heathen, how are you doing, sir? And Joseph Moore, thank you for coming in, gentlemen. Please leave a like to support the channel. It will be greatly appreciated. Mike Crusher Reviews. Hello, Mike. Hey, can you believe it? I got caught up on your reviews. And I still haven't done any videos this week. I am sorry. I am sorry. Melinda Elliott. Hello, Melinda Elliott. Thank you for coming in. I buy the 24 packs of bottled water. I also buy the gallon jugs. I like to get the ones with the handle. Get them over at Walmart. 123 for a 1 gallon purified drinking water, great value. And you can refill those bottles. You can refill them. When you refill them, it's a lot less expensive than when you get the originals. Um, Now I drink coffee. A lot of times I drink pods, but I also will use the sticks. And a very inexpensive coffee stick. You get a 7 pack of the coffee sticks. The Great Value Medium Roast, 88 cents for a 7 pack, which is a really good deal. Want to have a couple of those on hand. And if you've got a little bit of a sweet tooth, you can get the Great Value uh, sugar-free lemonade sticks. You get 10 sticks for $1.98 right now. 10 sticks for $1.98. So it's about 20 cents a stick. Um, Armor Star Vienna sausages, a 4.6 ounce can, a 6 pack for $4.84. You can eat them with crackers. You can eat them with bread. Vienna sausages. Uh, you can eat them with ramen. You know, you got options. You have options. Yes, the generics. There's nothing wrong with them. Um, Great Value pottage meat. 3 ounce cans of pottage meat. Again, crackers, bread. Um, 66 cents a can. You get 7 cans, one a day for a week. That's $4.62. So when you take a selection of all of that, you take all these items I just went through, and you add them up, you come to about $45. And that includes a loaf of bread, and that includes a pack of eggs, and all the items I was talking about. You're talking about $45. Irish whiskey. Yeah, Uncle Al is, and I promised to get to his box this week. Need to open his box. Well, I tell you, I was up at 2281, and then I lost one. See, that's what happens with me. I'm just going along coasting for a period of days, and then I'll pick up two or three, four or five, and then I'll lose a couple, you know. And I'm at 2279. So I lost two that I had. And I'm sure I'll get them back eventually. But I'm going very slow towards my next giveaway. And right now I've got 21 to go. How long that will take? I've picked up that many in a day on a couple of occasions. But it's running very slow for me now. And it may be a while before I get it, before I get there. And that's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. But those are items that you're going to want to have, that you really need to have for the possibility of a power outage. And then you need the means to be able to heat water. You need to be able to boil water. So whether you're using a camp stove of some form, the power is out. Now, when we had Hurricane Harvey, it didn't affect the natural gas. So there were people who did not have power and they did not have water, but the gas was running. The natural gas was still on. And they were able to use generators, you know. Um, or they had a natural gas stove. So they had, you know, we got our house is all electric. We don't have natural gas. The part of the neighborhood where I live was outside the city limits when it was built, and it never did have natural gas. This part of the neighborhood does not have natural gas. It's all electric. But you can um, you can have propane, and you can have butane, and you can use fuel tabs, and you can use sterno, and that will allow you to heat water so you can make coffee, have hot water for your it, whatever you want to whatever you want to use it for. You might have some freeze dried food you want to reconstitute, or you've got oatmeal that you want to, or your soup, your ramen. Got to have hot water for that. And so you need to have a means to be able to heat that. But for under $50 a week, you can eat pretty good. And I didn't include, the fact you can have jelly, jam, nuts, different chips. You can have finger foods. But the idea being is you need to have food on hand if there's a power outage. If you're not able to get to fast food places, if your you know card readers aren't working, so you can't use debit cards. One, you need to have cash on you. You need to have a roll of quarters. You need to have ones and fives. There are places that will accept cash. There are machines, old school machines, that will accept quarters. So you need to have supply of that on you. Mr. Whistle, how you doing, sir? Thank you for coming. Um, I do plan at some point in the near future doing an update on get home bag, or a bag you carry with you or in your vehicle. Something, if you had to walk, what would you do? You're going to want to have some food and some water with it. A couple of bottles of water, some food bars, first aid kit, some of your medication if you take medication. Always a good idea to have some good thick socks, walking shoes. If you're wearing dress clothes, you have some jeans, slacks, a jacket, a cap. You want to be equipped to where you can, you need to walk 5 miles, 10 miles, try to get home. Having a map of your area, having a flashlight for after dark, um, having a knife, folding knife, and how will you defend yourself? Having a walking stick, pole, a cane, something for animals. Um, Having a pistol, something you need to defend yourself. You can have a small caliber like a 22 long rifle or 22 Magnum. I have one called a Sidewinder. I've got interchangeable cylinders so I can shoot either 22 long rifle or 22 Magnum, depending on the cylinder I have in it. They're both 9 shots, double action, 4.5-inch barrel. Um, 22 long rifle is good for plinking. If you're going to carry it for self defense, I'd have the 22 Magnum. I'd have the cylinder for 22 Magnum in it. For a wild dog or hog or snake, 2-legged or 4-legged, you know. Those are things you need to take into consideration. Yeah, Uncle Al was talking about a 32 Magnum, and I had commented, well, I'm very familiar with the 32 ACP, which is a semi-automatic pistol. I have one. It's sort of an off caliber now, and you start looking at the calibers. Well, the smallest would be a 22. Well, there is the 17 HMR, but as far as traditional, you get the 22 long rifle, 22 Magnum. There's the 25 caliber, which is another little pocket pistol, 32. Then you go to 380. The 380 is like what they call a Kurtz or a short. It's like a 9mm short. 38 special, 357 Magnum. Then you've got like 40 caliber. Um, I think it's a 41 Magnum, 44 Magnum, 45 ACP, 45 Long Colt. Now they make a 50 caliber. You can get a 50 caliber pistol. A lot of different calibers. A lot of different calibers. And just, but you need to have something other for self defense. Somebody said, well, I've got a slingshot. Well, I mean, if you know how to use a slingshot, a slingshot can be very dangerous too. You might want a pellet rifle or a BB gun, something like one of those pump BB guns. You can do some serious damage with those. Pellet rifles you can do serious damage with. If you'd prefer, but you got to watch out with the wind, there's mace or pepper spray, pepper gel. a taser. You you got to be pretty close. Got to touch them with that taser. Um, so there are different means for self-defense. Everything's illegal in the UK, Gary. Just about everything's illegal. Self-defense is illegal in the UK. A good chunk of my ancestral tree comes out of the UK. Wales, got some of the red hair, Welsh, Scottish, English, Cornish, Irish, Scots Irish, whatever you want to call it. Um, take care, Mike. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Um, I don't know, but having I've seen Uncle Al with his machetes. We have a couple of machetes. My wife uses them for yard work. Um, uses them on the banana plants. Belinda's Country Living. Hello, young lady. Thank you for stopping in. I keep freeze dried food. Again, I just need to be able to boil water to reconstitute it. I keep military rations. I enjoy eating them occasionally. The U.S. military, excuse me, MREs, meals ready to eat, and various forms, cases of them. I get boxes of the freeze dried stuff. Got a bunch of individual servings, the little pouches. You just have to put boiling water in them. I've also got, like their kits. I've also got number 10 cans, and I've got pail size for emergencies. Jerry Cabrera, thank you for stopping by. How are you doing? Jerry 22 Cabrera. Ooh. How is Kat and Miss Erica doing? That's good. I am off on spring break, and I am enjoying having the days off. Plan on getting together with a couple of my friends tomorrow for breakfast, one of the local restaurants, and probably create a short from the meal. Should be getting with the person doing my taxes, finding out what that's going to be like tomorrow. Took care of my daughter's tax return and her husband. They filed jointly. I'd been doing my daughter's taxes because it's fairly simple. Now that they've got a joint return, I went ahead and had it prepared for them. And that set me back $185. they're going to get about $1,600 and some odd dollars back from the government. Filed it electronically. We have until April the 15th to do our income tax, so as not to be delinquent. Wouldn't want to fall foul of the government. Oh, you've been doing taxes? Well, that's good. I used to do my taxes. Sort of like the old saying about a man who represents himself in court has a fool for a client. Sort of feel the same way about the tax thing now that I've got, I'm retired. So I got that one, and I got this, and I got that, and I got so much crap. It's not funny when you go and you do it. So I just have it prepared. And it is what it is. That's just how it goes and what I do. Hopefully everything will come out okay. I'll find out tomorrow. I'd be happy if I just don't owe them anything. Gorkin Denzen, Arslan. Welcome. Life's advice. Well, every morning when you get up, thank God for the day. Your days are numbered. You have no idea how many days you have. Have your routines down. At our stage in life, we should have our routines down. I don't really have to set an alarm to know when to get up. My body gets me up about the same time every day. I wake up before the alarm goes off. But I do set an alarm. I drink coffee. I drink tea sometimes. Got to stay hydrated, so you got to drink water. And if you take medication, make sure you take your medication. I use a pill organizer. And well, we might not like routines, but we got to follow them. You get up, you get cleaned up, get dressed, eat, take your medication, go about your business. I work Monday through Friday when school's not in when school is in session, and usually it's nice I have weekends off. When I retired from education the first time, got my 30 years in, retired, I spent about a year with my wife remodeling our home. Our house is 60 years old, and we've been here for about 21 years. I went back to work after about a year. Worked 3.5 years over at Walmart. We got a Walmart here very close to my home, and got a part-time job, and wound up being a full-time job, and then being you know, department manager for a couple of the departments, and then they went from they created the position called team lead. Then I was a team lead, and you normally work about 40 hours a week. I was working about 60. I was usually working one of my days off. I get called in sometimes. Hey, can you come in? And I put in more than 8 hours a day. They work the hell out of you. What you call an hourly manager. I wound up being in digital, which is the digital shopping where you fill orders for people and they either come and pick it up at the curve, or it gets delivered to them, or we had what was called ship from store, where people would order stuff and you'd have to put it in a box and label it, and you know fill up a trailer, and every day around 3 o'clock they'd come pick the trailer up and drop off another trailer, and you'd have to fill that one up. you know so I did that for 3.5 years, and then I went back to teaching. And I had been an administrator for the last 23 years. I was Before I retired, and then when I went back, I said, well, I like having my evenings off. I don't like having to go to games 2 or 3 nights a week and be up at the school till 10 o'clock at night. Um, I like having my vacation time in the summer. When you are an administrator, you usually do not get that you work 4 10s during the summer. So you basically have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. You usually get 2 weeks of vacation in the summer. It's usually going to be a lot of times it's the last week in June and the first week in July, or the first 2 weeks in July. Or sometimes, if you've got a campus where you've got multiple administrators, sometimes you split when you're going to be off. Everybody's off because the central office is usually closed the first week in July. But you schedule your week, you know, middle middle of June if you don't have summer school, middle of June, or you schedule it middle of July. Usually everybody's back when you get to August. Everybody's back in. And it is what it is. But we enjoy having the vacations. You get all the holidays. You're off on all the holidays. You get a week usually at Thanksgiving, call it a fall break. You get 2 weeks off at Christmas. You get a week off for spring break, which I'm on spring break right now. When I come back, when it's Easter, I'll get a couple of days off for Easter. So it'll be a 4-day weekend for Easter. And when I go back, I have 9 more weeks. We're in a 4 9 weeks periods. 3/4 of the year is done. I have 9 more weeks, and then I'll be off for summer break, and I'll have a couple of months off in the summer. Now, I probably will work summer school, or I'll work credit recovery for a couple of weeks when school gets out. And I'll probably be up there for summer testing. We'll have a couple of days of summer star testing. But that's the way it is when you're in educator. And I enjoy it. It's not difficult. Um, the kids, I get along with the kids. The kids appreciate me. I usually feed them. I buy ramen bowls, little cups of soup. I buy Pop Tarts, um, bottled water. They're hungry. I feed them. And, you know, they appreciate it. A lot of times kids come to school, they're hungry. The school food, it's not that good. The breakfast, there's lots of sugar. Sometimes they come late. They don't get to eat. And but yeah, the comment about shopping at Walmart and Audi. Audi is inexpensive. Audi's probably a little bit less expensive than Walmart, but most people have access to Walmart. Not everybody has access to Audi. We do here in Victoria. We've had an Audi for the last 6 or 7 years. It's not a huge Audi, but it's got all the basics. I go to Audi, go to Walmart. Sometimes I go to HEB. HEB is more expensive. The more affluent people, and I can afford to go to HEB, but the more affluent people tend to go in there. And I go in there for stuff. The thing is, well, thank you, Gary. It's my way of giving back. I give back. It's just like, I send people packages of stuff. I do those subscriber giveaways, which, I don't know when the next one's going to come because I have to hit that number. Every 100, I do a subscriber giveaway. You want me to do another subscriber giveaway in a hurry? You want to be in the drawing? One thing, in order to be in the drawing, I guess I should talk about it. I figure everybody would know that that's in here. If you want to qualify to be in the drawing for my next subscriber giveaway, you need to leave me a like and a supportive comment, and I get to see those comments on each of the last 5 long form videos I will have released when I hit that next number, which will be 2,300. And there have not been that many people qualifying. There are people who are very loyal, and everything I put out they watch. Give them a few days or a week, sometimes the day it comes out they watch it, and they'll leave comments. And then there are people who are hit or miss. They watch some, they're busy, they've got a lot of stuff they're doing, and they miss some. Okay, I appreciate whatever you give me. I appreciate it, but the rules, and I'm a rule follower pretty much. The rules are, if you want to be in the drawing, if you want your name in my hat when I do the drawing, you need to leave me a supportive comment and hopefully a like. And you got to be one of my friends, and you got to leave me that on each of the last 5. So when I hit that number, I'll look at the last video I did, and I'll write down the name of every channel that has left me a comment. And then I will backtrack 4, and I'll be checking. And did they do all 5? And some will have done all 5. Their name will go on the hat. Some will have done 4. I'll feel bad for them. Some will have done 3. And then there will be people who have done 2 or done 1, and 1 and out or 2 and out or whatever. And some of these people watch all my shorts, but I'm not going by who's watched my shorts. It's the videos. And I don't put out that many videos. I haven't been putting out many videos. Last video I put out was a couple of weeks ago. It's been a couple of weeks since I put out a video. I don't put out that many videos. And like when I was off for Christmas, I put out 4 videos over the Christmas holidays. 2 weeks I was off, put out 4 videos. Now, something for me, you got people like Uncle Al puts out a couple of videos every day, you know, in addition to shorts. But was the last video where you gave the MRE a bath? Oh man, what was the last video? God darn it. Oh man, I don't even know. Let's see. Let me go to content, type videos. All right. I did a channel update. That's been a couple of weeks. I did my menu number 4 spaghetti with meatballs. It's been a month ago. That was the long one. I did coffee talk 2200 giveaway. I did Amazon mail call and update. It was 2 months ago. And then I did a taco and coffee talk short. It was a video, but it was a short video. It was 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I haven't done that much. I have not done that much. I try to do 1 or 2, sometimes 3 or 4, but usually 1 or 2. I'll usually do 1 or 2 shorts a day. A lot of times I'll do 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. Today I think I did 3 maybe, and they're not getting that many views. Yeah, that's true, Gary. I left the bloopers in. I do that. I tend to leave the bloopers in. Take care, Uncle Al. God bless you. Thank you for your ministry. Uncle Al's a good man. I appreciate him. He's very, very active in his church. He's very active with um, food bank. He does a lot of good stuff. I used to be involved with all that stuff and I got burned out. I don't do that stuff anymore. So I appreciate people coming in to see me. Hopefully it was a good talk today. I talked about stuff that you would want to have and what you would expect to pay for it. I'd say $45, $50 a month, depending on, if you don't eat out, what you can get by with, especially if you're talking about stuff that's like for grid down situation. And like I didn't mention powdered milk that you can mix with cold water. Got to be able to have cold water, so you got to have a way to, if the grid is down, how are you going to have cold? What are you going to do to have cold? I've got 12 volt. Well, it runs on 12 or 24 volt power. It'll run on 110, but I mean, you can run on solar. I've got a couple of refrigerators that'll run on solar. And I got a solar set up. So anyway, I appreciate everybody coming in. And I will try to be back probably Thursday for another live stream. It will be, I don't know what the topics will be, but I do appreciate y'all coming in. Remember the Scout motto. They teach this in the military. If you've got military experiences, be prepared. You don't know what's going to happen, but you got to be prepared. And I always end my live streams by telling people to have a blessed day. And I truly appreciate y'all coming in and spending some time with me during the week. So thank you. And everybody have a good evening. And hopefully you'll see you again, maybe Thursday, for another edition of Coffee Talk. Bye bye. Enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Blessings to everybody.